Hello and welcome to the Sacred Cards channel. Thank you for joining me as I showcase my updated Marincess deck profile for October 2024. It's certainly my top 5 favorite decks of all time. I love water and the whole Marincess archetype. It's gained quite a dedicated following over the years, so it's been great keeping the deck relevant and competitive. Marincess is also known for being a deck that can play like 18 to 20 hand traps if you cut your engine down. I'm taking a much more balanced approach to the deck, as there's nothing worse than not being able to play when you play a deck with such lopsided ratios. You increase the risk-reward ratio, which can create unplayable hands. By balancing the engine, you can ensure you are able to play through multiple interruptions yourself, while also maintaining a high probability of seeing hand traps and cards that slow down your opponent. So I'm going to go a bit more in depth, sharing some more math than usual during the profile. It's a really good opportunity to talk about deck building and probability scenarios. So I'll get into the deck profile and explain my card choices while sharing my thoughts on the deck and the cards themselves. Okay, so kicking things off with the Marincess engine, 3 copies of Marincess Blue Tang. Upon summon, will let you send a Marincess monster from your deck to grave, which already concludes that this deck has fantastic graveyard extenders and cards that manage our resources. When used as link material, you can excavate 3 cards deep into the deck and add a Marincess card to your hand. 3 copies of Marincess Seahorse. Sorry, I lost my spot here. This card can special summon itself from the hand to a zone a Marincess Link monster points to. From the graveyard, it can be banished to special summon a water monster from the hand to a zone a Marincess Link monster points to. And we have 3 copies of Marincess Spring Girl. Can extend from the hand by banishing a Marincess monster from grave. When uses link material, you can send cards from the top of the deck to grave up to the number of Marincess monsters used for the summon, burning my opponent for 200 points for each Marincess card sent. 3 Pascalis. Its on summon effect is more situational, being able to special summon another Marincess monster from the hand. The primary function of this card is the ability to banish itself from the grave and to return a Marincess spell or trap from grave to your hand. Resource management is very important for the deck. And the other level 4 Marincess I'm playing is a single copy of Marincess Basilalima. Other than being a level 4 named Marincess name, its effect to banish itself from grave if our monsters were to be destroyed by card effect. I then play 2 copies of Marincess Mandarin. 2 is the number I like for this deck. It can special summon itself to a zone link monster, to a link zone from the hand or grave by controlling 2 or more Marincess monsters. It does get banished after using its effects, so 2 copies made sense to me when choosing the monsters. And the last Marincess main deck monster is a single copy of Sleepy Maiden. It can special summon itself from the hand by targeting a Marincess card on the field, and when it's in the monster zone, that card can't be destroyed by card effects. Good for protecting cards like your Battle Ocean or Aqua Argonaut. It can also banish itself from the grave to equip a link monster from grave to one you control. And last card I'm going to talk in the main deck is Silent Sea Nettle. It's a free extender from hand. It does lock you into water monsters, but I do like the graveyard effect, being able to target up to 3 water monsters and shuffle them back into the deck. So now I'm going to go into the engine spells here. This is where I want to talk about some probability and numbers with you on my ratios here. I really enjoy this side of the game. Math, numbers, and formulas have always been something I get really into, and by having some of this information can help you make deck building choices for yourself. Nothing is ever certain, but one can always attempt to increase or decrease the odds to their preference. With that said, this list, I am playing 3 Signet Mining, 2 Battle Ocean, and the 3 copies of Marincess Dive. So, Now, you've seen me use the 2 and 3 ratio pertaining to the Marincess spells before. The card I'd like to talk about first is Sign Up Mining in Marincess. Is one players both agree and disagree on. I see great points on both sides. Here's the math I've worked out for this deck and why I've chosen to play it in this build. We play 16 Marincess monsters plus 3 mining. That's 19 copies of Marincess monsters, giving us a 96.91% chance of seeing one of these in my opening hand. If my math is correct, that leaves us a 79.63% chance of opening 2 of these in my opening hand. Those are very good odds that will allow me to play the game. It doesn't feel great to get hit by Ash, but I'm not going to not play certain cards just because Ash Blossom exists. Can't live life in fear. Now, with that said, the cost for Sign Up Mining can be paid by any card in my hand. In this deck, I play 11 monsters that have graveyard effects, 8 spells and traps that I can recover, other copies of itself, or hand traps I may not need. Referring to the Marincess spells, I also account that with 2 Ocean, 3 Dive, we have a 6.81% chance of seeing the combination of both of these in our opening hand. Now, that's not crazy odds, but I also take into consideration that Ocean and Dive can be searched. But I do want to see these cards together. Being able to special summon Marincess from the deck is a very powerful effect. 2 Ocean can be justified by the advantage the card gives. Being able to equip and stack monster cards to your Link monsters is what makes this deck so effective. Personally, I want easy access to these cards and maintain multiple options that I can strategically recycle from my graveyard. Now, last of the Marincess engine is triple copies of Marincess Wave. Now, why 3 copies? This card is searchable, not once per turn. Monster effect negation that transitions into a full turn protection, being unaffected by card effects. And a trap card that's playable from the hand. It's more versatile than Infinite Impermanence. If I'm able to constantly recycle these when needed. Alternatively, I can go for Dive or Ocean instead. This card technically makes 15 slots for interruptions, but falls into the engine category, so I'm discussing it here. One thing to note when considering a card choice and the number of copies, it's important to think about the conditions that need to be met for the card to be activated. I've already discussed the odds of seeing our engine pieces and being able to play the game, creating a very low possibility we can't have a Link monster on the field. Now, with the probability of seeing engine pieces, we also follow the 70-30 rule, with 30% of our deck being non-engine cards like Ash Blossom. We still have an 85.06 chance to see at least 1 interruption in our opening hand, and a 47.72 chance of seeing 2. Again, these are numbers that I came to and made most sense to me when building the deck. So that wraps up the main engine. I'll round out the main deck portion here with my disruption cards for this build. I'm playing 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet, 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 2 Effect Veiler, 2 Moonlit Chill, 1 Ghost Spell, and the 1 Called by the Grave. So yeah, that concludes my 40 card main deck. I'll go through the extra deck right here. So for the extra deck, I am playing 2 copies of Blue Slug, 2 copies of Sea Angel, 2 copies of Coral Anemone, 1 Coral Triangle, 1 Marbled Rock, 1 Aqua Argonaut, 1 Great Bubble Reef, 1 World Dragon Zealantis. Now, one of many favorite cards of all time, its effect banishes all monsters on the field and then special summon as many as possible that were banished by this effect. Unfortunately for my opponent, I can only special summon water monsters. Sea Nettle locks me into water, Blue Slug locks you into water, Anemone and Triangle both lock water. I play one copy of Splash Mage that locks you into Cybers, but is also a great extender nonetheless. And the Xyz monsters I'm playing are the one copy of Stealth Kraken, the one Bahamut Shark, along with his best buddy, Totally Awesome. Now that concludes my Marincess deck profile for October 2024. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything you like or dislike, please leave me a comment telling me your thoughts. I enjoy interacting with everyone in the community. Be sure to like the video if you did, share with your friends, hit subscribe and get notified for more content. As always, thank you for the love and support by tuning into Sacred Cards. Have fun, be creative, and enjoy the game.